welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ali Hart, and today I'm going to just talk you through how to start to use watercolors. Really the bare bones that gets you started. If you decide today that you want to do watercolors tomorrow, well then this is what you need. So the first thing I would say is really have a think about the brushes that you use. These brushes, they're all designed for watercolor, and you will find they have a very fine brush, a very fine hair, and that means that they move very well, because with watercolor, unlike oils or acrylics which can be quite static, watercolor you need the movement. So what this does is this enables the movement, and it holds enough water to bring it down the page. So your brushes can range from flat brushes, which I'm going to show you in just a minute, to the rounder brushes, to your very, very fine brushes, which is one of the beautiful things whenever you're working with watercolor, is you can get really in there with your detail. So try and get good brushes. Even if you only get one or two, they're going to really help you with your watercolors. The next thing is your paper. You will see that this is a little watercolor piece that I have, and I've used just a regular page for that. That is okay because there's very little water on that. But if you're using watercolors, sometimes what happens is people saturate the page and it starts to curl a little bit, and you don't want that. So this is a nice heavy weight of watercolor paper, and you will see if you look very closely, there is a little texture on it as well. So what that does is that's going to carry the weight of whatever amount of paint you put on there. So the first thing is your brushes. The second thing is your paper. Get the right paper. Even if you buy one sheet, you do not need to buy a big pad, because what you can do is you can buy one sheet and you can put it into little squares like I have here, and then that means you can just cut those out. And then the next thing is your paints. So when you were in school, you may have had, there's a long palette, I think it's a Reeves one, and it's in a red palette. They're very hard watercolors, but they totally do the job when you're starting out. So if that is all you have, that is absolutely fine. The other next step after that are little ones like this, which are similar to the hard casing that you will have had before, except there's a little bit more movement in them. These are little squares, and the good thing is they last forever. But the other thing which you can also go for, so you can go for this, which is your set ones, or you can go for little tubes. So these are a bit more concentrated, and if you are used to working with oils or acrylics, which I am as well, I actually find the tubes are lovely because they're a really nice transition into watercolors, because they have that same, you will see here that I have a little bit there squirted out for you, and what it does is it just allows it to be on the paintbrush. So rather than it being extremely watery, you still have this little bit of paint. However, once you add water to that, there is still a very nice amount of movement with it, but it's a lovely strong, a real depth of color. So you can have the little blocks, your set blocks, or you can go for your concentrate. So once you have your brushes, once you have your paper, and once you have your paints, then you're pretty much set to go. And my last two tips for you with relation to your brushes and getting started are: try a flat brush and a round brush. If that's all you go for, try that, because a round brush and a flat brush have different purposes. This flat brush right now is really good. I'm just dipping it in my water, and I'm going to take this nice red color here. I'm going to make sure when you're using, that's another tip for you, do not worry about the amount of water you have. When you've got the right amount, the right paper, then it's actually lovely to have more water on your brush than you would think to begin with. So don't be afraid to double dip. And this is the little square that I have here, and you're just going to see. I'm just moving left to right, and you will see how that watercolor is flowing down, and I've just double dipped again, and just watch how the water goes down. So that is a flat brush, which is really good for when you're doing the background. So what that does right now is that just sets your background for you, and it's great because it means that you cover it in a nice even way. I know I've more at the top and more at the bottom, but the lovely thing is you can revisit that, and you can bring a bit of it down, you can carry it down, or you can go back in. to your watercolor tray. So the flat brush is good for your backgrounds. And then your little brush. So even if all you do, I'm just dipping again into the water. If you just go for a little guy like this, it has great power because it can carry so much water in that tiny little bristle. And it also makes lovely, lovely detail. So a little round brush is great for doing, I'm just going to do a nice little A. And you can see there how that brush, I'm putting a lot of water on it, I'm putting a lot of colour on it. Don't be afraid to really, really get into your colours. Like I've quite a lot of water on that. And then you're just going to look at those lines. It is lovely. So the beautiful thing is that you can use a round brush to fill in. You can use a round brush to do your flats. And you can use a round brush just to do those really definite lines. So that's a little A for you. But if you want, you can just start with that. Get a real feel of how the brushes work. You have your flat brush, you have your round brush. And if you want to go one step further, you can go for a big, thick brush. Because what it does is it holds a lot of water, which can be lovely if you're doing a really big picture. So there you have it. My top tips really for starting watercolors to begin with. Get your brushes right, get your paints right, get your paper right, and then think about what you need at the foreground and what you need at the background. Flat brush is really good for backgrounds, and a little tiny brush is very good for details, but so is a lovely round brushes have so many purposes. So there you have it. I hope you enjoy that. I hope you can also show me your pictures that you make. And if you want to see any of my other videos, you can subscribe to my channel just below here, or you can go and view my website, alihart.com. Thank you very much for watching.